just fishing on King's Weir today. You probably hear the weir in the background. It's so noisy. There's a lot of water coming through, so I've moved swims. I was on the opposite side, but the water level just came up and up to the extent where everything was getting wet, and I just didn't want to risk it anymore with water. Um, it just looks like it's just on the up, and there's rain forecast as well, so it didn't look too good. But nothing as of yet. Lots of debris coming down, so it's rigs are getting sort of pulled around. Got one swim feeder and one lead. So just fishing a bit of meat on one, and one of my little CC Moore homemade baits on the other, or home rolled baits. Yeah, conditions look really good. Low air pressure. It's cloudy. Seems to be a good colour on the water. There's quite a lot of water coming through. It's just proving too difficult with the debris sort of pulling the rigs around. So yeah, stick with it. See how we get on. Just watching the tips at the moment. Every now and again they sort of get the odd bang, which I think is debris. I did strike into one, but there was nothing there, so I suspect it's just some of the weed coming through and just hitting the line, making it seem like there was a bite. So fingers crossed, and yeah, hopefully be able to pick one or two up. Right, there's the rods bouncing around. Still nothing yet. It's cost. So you to my bait. So there's sort of ground bait mix that I'm using. It's various different particles and pellets and all sorts of ground up old boilie that I've used. I've ground that up when it's in lockdown. Um, quite good. It's quite a good bind on it. 6mm pellets just soaked today. They're just in river water. So there's sort of various different sizes in there. Your dumbbell, as you see, krill dumbbell. It's quite pellet heavy as well at the moment. That is. The hook baits that I'm using. So these are the things I'm using. So they're just various different sizes of CC Moore Pacific tuna, and sort of squares and blocks that I just want different sizes. I don't want round boilies. I just want different shapes. Something a bit different. You see some of them, or one of them, I dropped one. They've just got a slightly different colour to them, so that's why I've just plugged them in a flavour, just to keep it a little bit different. Just for a few spares whilst fishing on here, there's a lot of rocks, so you get blunted hooks, and two, because I just lost my tackle, first one today, so it was a great big swim feeder that I was putting quite a lot of bait out in, so a bit gutted about that. But yeah, talking through my hooks, I'm using BMG Palatrax, so both barbless, Palatrax have got the unique system. Got a little tub of sort of kickers and bits of silicone tube which I use on the hook, just to fix the line in as well. Scissors, sleeves. So these are, again, this BMG terminal tackle, they're tungsten sleeves. They're quite long sleeves. What I do is I snip the end off, and I use the left over to just on the hook, so I'll show you that a bit later. Target specie skin gravel, so I did have the weed green, but I've run out of that, so we're using the gravel, so it's £10. People may think it's a bit weak for barbel fishing, but they barbel up to £14 on this stuff as well. As long as you've got your clutch set right and you play the fish carefully, you shouldn't have any problems. Little rig puller, again BMG rig puller, lighter. I just burn the end of the braid. I try and blob all of my knots. Just a habit I'm into. Obviously, it's hard to blob a braid knot. The braid just burns, but certainly the coated braid, the coating on the outside will just give you a little bit of blob. Just not that I have hook slips. Oh, sorry, not slipping. But I'd rather there's just a bit of security, just in case there is that one chance when a knot does slip, that I've got a little bit of a bubble on the end, so a little bit of fatter end, just so that it all holds. So that's my thought process behind that. And got a baiting needle. I'm not using that. My rig tying, but yeah, it's just there. So anyway, that's the stuff. So I'm just going to tie up a few rigs and set my rod up to get my second rod back out. Probably here, it's still raining out there quite heavily. Although it's getting quite bright, so I expect the rain will stop soon. Rods are bouncing as usual. In fact, the one on the right quite a lot. The one on the left not so much. So it seems to be a bit of a slacker area I've got on the left, so that's quite good. So although I can see a boil, just hope I haven't passed into some big old bit of debris. Back to the rig tying. So I've just got a overhand loop. Broken thumb now. That's not part of it, but something I've just noticed. Number 6. I've gone for 6 grips hook, and I've used this bit of sleeving from the anti-tangle sleeve, and I've just put the hook slightly through it. Just something I like to have the bait coming off lower down the hook. I will also put a kicker on there as well. I just want to sort of have a good old hook hold, bait coming off the bottom of the hook as best as I can, and then good hooking capability by one of those kickers on. So start to tip it down. Looks at the swim opposite, the water level's actually gone down, but I don't think that's going to last too much longer. I suspect there'll be a lot of water washing into the river. Just a case of how long it'll take to sort of wash its way down here. But yeah, there's a strong flow, a lot of stuff coming down. I've changed my sort of fishing area, so I've had one bait sort of towards the tree opposite, one a little bit further down, so there's 2 trees, so there's one probably here that I've been in line with that, and then one with the willow a little bit further down. So now I've got one still against the willow, but one just closer in, just in where the edge of the white water is, I've just popped it in there, a different area. The guy in the swim next door's moved on, so I haven't got to worry about getting his lines. But yeah, just in this area, just on the edge of this white water, so there's a little bit of an edge, just a bit further downstream. So let's see what that brings. Different area. Hopefully, I'll cast into the snag, but you never know. So back to rig making now. Right, so rig finished. Got my hook, got my bit of sleeving coming off the back, got my kicker, and so I've just put that on my finger and just put it round just to see how that um, reacts. So it does hook quite well. Because I've tried it on my finger, tried it a little bit too hard actually, which wasn't great. So I'm not really too fussed in terms of, you need to have like a 7 foot hook length. I'm not too sure. Generally, I just use an arm's width. I personally, the way that I fish, I don't go for a massive long hook length. I've actually found that I had the opposite for me. That I had less success the longer the hook length, and as I shortened it down, I found that increased my bite rate and catch rate increased. So still, it's not. I'm not saying it's like um, an 8-inch hook length. It's probably a couple of feet, but that's it for me, and I don't really change it. I don't sort of like look at the conditions and think I need that long. I generally, the way that I cast and feather down my mechanics, I think that I don't really go for that massive long. Um, it's just a preference. Each to their own. It's just my choice, and I've had success on it, so I'm comfortable with it. Going up to the end, I've got an overhand loop, and I've just got this rig sleeve, so you can see it's trimmed down bottom of the rig sleeve, and probably just another bit, but that's the bit I've used on the bottom of the hook, and that's for me as straightforward it gets. I've got into sort of the mechanics of rig tying and tried to overcomplicate things in the past. Normally on the back of when I'm not catching, or you sort of you have a lost fish or a lost bite, and you start to question why. But I've had so many times when I've changed it, overcomplicating it, and then just came back to the same um, simple rig. For me, it's simple enough for me. I don't always use the bit of sleeving on the hook. Um, I don't always use the kicker, but at the moment I am. But as far as that goes, that's for me as complicated as I get it. Um, I try and keep it as like a tap on the rod. I try and keep it as straightforward as I can. So pretty much all of my rigs I try the same. I just like to keep them consistent. Again, I'm not into measuring out. You also see that I've stripped back a bit of the coating, just so that I've got a bit more flexibility in the hook there. And the blobbing that I talk about, the actually on the knot there, I just blob the end of that. So where it's got the coating on the hook link, I'll blob it. So it just gives that knot. If it was to slip, I'd like to think that that would just hold it in place, give it a bit more security. So it's not something that I find my rig slipping, but it is something that I just get on a habit of doing. More so when I'm using nylon um, lines, but yeah, it still do it with braid coating. Obviously, just using straight braid, it just burns away, so you have to put a block. But that's just my mechanics. not going so great, so I'd feed the robin, but the robin doesn't even want my bait, which is right. It's been a good few hours. Sadly, no fish. Guy opposite, that you can see him down there, had a lovely bream earlier on. Nice double figure. Really nice fish. Really nice swim as well. I've never been down there before, so that was good to see. One to keep in mind for the future. Yeah, just sort of been snagged up a few times. Managed to get free without losing anything, thankfully. So just the one break off today. Unfortunately, lost that big feeder, so I'm gonna have to haul in the brown bait and pellet. God only knows where that will end up on the bottom, but I think as long as I get the line that I'm fishing on, that'll probably be the best I can hope for. Yeah, it stopped raining, but I think we're going to get some more. The Weir's looking busy as ever. There's a lot of steam coming off as well now, so you see it's as you can probably see, it's got quite dark. So just hanging it out. Just see who picks something up as the light goes. Put a few freebies in. Very much doubt they're anywhere near on fishing, but anyway, I'll put a few in. And yeah, I've got just two rods out, one on the CC Moore home rolls bait and the other one on meat. So I've just been alternating them, PVA bags on them. Yeah, I actually hope to get something, but that's what I want to be fishing for. Yeah, it's tough. It's certainly, you're not going to turn up here and catch lots of barbel. I think you'd be lucky to get one. I think it's probably I've had one in 3 or 4 visits. But yeah, I'm not going to catch them at home. So let's hope as the light starts to fade even more, I'll pick one up. Oh, I finished to a wet day. It's time to get home now, so absolutely soaked. I was expecting a little rain shower, but it absolutely tipped it down. So yeah, unfortunately no fish. Looking forward to getting home now, and no doubt I've got to dry out all the kit tomorrow.